We just saw Rogue One.
Yep.
Stay tuned to find out how blown our minds really are.
Ah!
Welcome to Spectrum City.
Accessing reviews, news, and commentary. Welcome to Spectrum City.
Intro, please.
All right, so
First of all, let's introduce our new guest
yes.
speaker.
Yeah, first guest on the show.
Mr. Lab and Robbie the Bobfather Bakari.
Yes. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
First of all,
Nice to be in the garage.
let us first
Pizza parlor.
Pizza parlor.
in turn express just how our initial feelings on the subject.
Yeah, we'll start with Mr. Lab.
Mr. Lab?
Mr. Lab. Okay. The movie was like. I loved it.
Really? Wow.
Very
Papa
explosive.
Bakari?
I'm not sure I could top that. Wow.
You saying you didn't like it as much as he did?
No.
No, that's all he's saying at all.
Just wow. I really, when I came out of the theater, what I was saying first was I feel like I need to hold myself back before I say
You can't-
how good I really think
you
it
gotta-
actually
you gotta-
is.
Well, you have to give it some time and let it, sink in.
Because,
I need to
And,
watch it. Like,
I got a high.
Yeah, it was-
yeah.
I got a
Well,
high.
throughout the movie, I started just rocking back and forth
that's what-
and breaking
that's
the
what your
seat.
wife was saying,
Yes,
yeah.
my wife. Ah!
AJ's face was the best, dude.
What was nice though is the chairs
my
did
jaw
allow a little bit
literally
of
like
rock.
I've never.
Well, what's your reaction?
Oh well, my reaction was I was just smiling the whole time.
Man,
I couldn't help myself.
I
Yep.
think
And then all
Excitement.
the little details
Yep.
that they threw in there.
Easter eggs.
Yeah, the little Easter eggs for the Star Wars fan.
So I think that's a good
spoiler
question.
alert, right? Just wanna.
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah.
this is spoilers.
Spoilers, just so you know.
This is
Just so
our-
you
this is
know.
our
Everything.
regurgitation.
You know,
All right, AJ, you reacted earlier, but here to react again. Yeah. all right.
No, it was. I don't think I've ever like had my
Was
jaw.
that a positive nah, or a
What do you
negative?
think?
Okay.
No,
was
I don't
great.
think I've ever had my jaw like I literally want to close my mouth now, but I can't.
Okay. So what are the things you like most about it?
It's hard to.
You better watch yourself.
No, you just no.
You
no,
know,
it's so great.
I will talk about that later.
So, no, there were just so many little things. We had blue milk at the beginning. We had the cantina guys show up. We had all of these little things. I would see 3PO and R2 just for 10 seconds, but then they're going,
That was like 2
Vader,
seconds.
Freaking Vader.
Yep.
He was in there like twice, but it was like the greatest twice ever. And
Yep.
I loved, and all the new characters were great too, but it was like
Yeah.
really kind of, it was like at the same time we have, K2 beating a stormtrooper with another stormtrooper, and then we
he
had
was awesome.
Admiral Akbar's dad beating a Star Destroyer with another.
Do you think
Star
that was
Destroyer.
Admiral Akbar's dad?
I don't know. They're probably cousins or something. I'm just saying.
Definitely right.
They all look the
Yeah.
same.
No, this one looked different.
I know.
He was
Alright.
chubbier.
Well,
He kind
just
of reminded me
Uncle,
of
perhaps.
Dexter from. Kind of had
Yeah.
the chins.
What?
What'd you like the most?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just in terms of the story, I don't know if I told the rest of you guys this, but I actually read the book Catalyst, which is a prelude to Rogue One, and it leads directly into it. And the things that happened in Catalyst, spoilers for Catalyst, but not too many in case you want to read it.
Yes.
It really delved into the relationship between Galen and Krennic, and you kind of got to see their backstory. So when they do meet up on that planet at the beginning of the movie, you know why he's on the planet. You know why Krennic is looking for him, and you understand some of that rapport that they have, even with his wife. I mean, the suspicions that he has towards his wife are kind of set up in this novel.
Interesting.
And even Saw Gerrera, how Saw Gerrera kind of like takes Jin under his arm is something that's kind of set up a little bit in this novel. So that was interesting having that backstory because it made you like feel for the characters.
Now,
And yes,
do you think that people should read the book before they see the movie, or do you think
it's not necessary, but yeah, I would read it before. It wasn't my favorite Star Wars book by any means, but it was nice because it gave you the backstory for the characters going into the movie, and you understood some of that tension between Krennic and Tarkin and
Yeah.
Speaking of Tarkin,
Oh,
We were
yeah,
going down
Tarkin.
the line, but
No.
oh yeah, Tarkin.
We were.
So let me talk about that.
Okay, because we actually
I,
had a conversation.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it went really well. That was one of my favorite parts about the movie. I loved all the Easter eggs. I loved Darth Vader. I loved the different ships that we got to see of the Rebellion, a different type of Mon Calamari cruiser.
But I love the boldness that they did with Tarkin.
Look, I've got my cup.
A
Yeah,
little bit earlier,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
because
They just showed
like it
him
wasn't like Ant-Man
full
where,
close
like,
up.
Yeah.
like, this is not a fault of Ant-Man. It wasn't like, oh, here's a little thing in the opening. It was like
no, but and you
the
know.
character, he's in the story and he's having conversations with people
Yeah.
and he's getting right up in front of the camera.
And what was amazing is I expected nothing because even when they just showed like his reflection in the window, I was like, oh, that's gonna be it. That's all we're gonna see. And then what? What?
And they even had the little Death Star cue when they showed the Death Star.
Yes. Oh, that was actually one of the one thing that I wanted to hear was the Death Star cue.
Yeah.
And I was talking to you about that, and I was like, yes.
What do you guys think of the score
The
overall?
score overall was
That
good.
was okay.
It was good. It wasn't memorable. I can't think of any themes for any of the characters.
But it was-
It was better than what I was hearing though.
It was
Yeah.
present though, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what a lot.
What
of
I was
modern
telling
movies are
telling my wife is that I didn't feel like it added much, but it also wasn't a detriment either.
Well, and it's
It
like
fit.
if you've played any of the Star Wars games, you're used to like variations on Star Wars,
yeah.
but not quite the high that John Williams is able to achieve.
I really wish
So-
it was a Star Wars game to go with this.
Yes, that's true. That
Oh,
would.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Or
Battlefront.
no,
2.
Battlefront.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they have the
Right.
DLC. You
I
can
thought
already
you said
play
game,
Scarif
though.
in
That's true.
Battlefront.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Ravi, what did you like most about the movie?
Well, first of all, it's great to be on the show.
Thank you so much for coming.
It's great to have you finally.
You
Well,
don't
hopefully-
talk like you're on the show. You need to talk just like we're talking.
Hopefully, yes. But last year I wasn't able to do this.
No,
which
yeah,
we'll
that's
get
true.
into.
We had this last year. That's sort of what kicked off
Force
the whole show.
Awakens, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, with The
the,
Force Awakens, we were all sitting in the den and we were like, hey.
My thoughts on it were this. So from the beginning, I noticed something that this seemed more like a movie for the fans. And I know Episode 7 was.
It was,
But
in a lot
every
of
time I
ways.
told somebody about this movie, I had to explain it. And I
Yeah.
expected excitement, and I usually got nothing.
Yeah.
Unless you were already a big fan.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, and then watching it immediately, as soon as we were in, I'm like, okay, so this is a movie for Star Wars fans. They had everything in it that only real, that true fans would get and appreciate.
When the Rebel fleet showed up, all of a sudden,
big way.
in a big way, all of a sudden, I was like, this is what I wanted to see when I heard George Lucas was making more Star Wars
Yep.
movies. When the prequel, before the prequels,
Yep, that's
this
true.
is what we've been looking
Yeah.
to see for 17 years now.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from
Not to take
J.J.
anything from
Abrams
Force
and
Awakens, because they
Force
did do a
Awakens,
lot
no,
of fan
no,
service.
That had to
obviously,
do
but-
what it had to do, but
Yeah.
this was just like so much goodness.
Well, and it wasn't just fan service. I felt the problem with The Force Awakens was it was a little bit too sterile for my taste, but this one was, you got a lot more texture.
Yeah.
There was a lot more creatures in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was
yeah.
just visually. I just felt like they took the original trilogy,
Yeah.
and don't misunderstand me with what I'm about to say, but they kind of made it better. Like they took
In
the
a-
original
yeah.
style
And
then
just
they
expanded
like,
upon it.
Yeah, they expanded
Yeah.
upon it. Like took
Yeah.
it to that next
It was
level.
right at
That
the-
showed you what was
Oh, so
outside
pretty.
the frame.
Yeah.
Like,
That
you
was
don't-
there
you
the
can
whole
just put this
time.
movie on the background and just like every time you look over, you're just like, wow, that's just beautiful. Put on
Who loved that blue dancing Twi'lek?
You know about the hologram?
About that, David.
Yeah.
I thought about you when I saw that. I'm like,
How do you
Oh
know
my
she-
I
God.
was like, were they playing like D&D or something? What were they doing? Like it wasn't.
It looked like
holograms,
it looked
they
like
had,
Star
action
Wars
figures.
chess, but instead of holograms, it was just like little figures.
I thought they were rolling dice. I thought maybe I just didn't.
We'll
Check
play
it out.
something.
what about you? What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts.
Your favorite part?
I feel like I have to watch it again because there were points in the film where like things like it felt like it wasn't working, but there was so much that was working that I felt kind of like blinded. Like, okay, something feels a little off about that, but I'm not sure what. I'm still enjoying it. I'm having a good time.
There was-
Yeah.
There was a lot
I
of
know what you mean.
setup to get to that third act, but once we were there, and it was
Paid off.
glorious. It paid off.
Yeah, the middle. If I had any criticism, the middle kind of lagged a bit.
At which part exactly?
Just for a minute.
The whole part where they're like, well, spoilers, obviously, when Galen Urso is killed.
Yeah,
During
a
that
tiny
whole,
bit.
like the setup for that and that whole scene just kind of felt like it dragged a bit.
It was
But
actually during that part I was thinking, is this where the reshoots happened?
Oh, really?
Well,
Or, I don't
no.
know.
Because it felt like
We
if
don't
it
know
was going
when
to be anywhere,
I don't think
maybe it
anyone
was-
knows what they reshot.
No. And frankly, to me, the weakest part of the movie is actually. You wanna get changed?
No, keep going.
To me, the weakest part of the movie were our leads.
Really?
Really?
I just everything else
I thought
was.
the girl was a little bit weak.
She was a little weak, yeah.
But the
especially-
guy kind
the
of,
guy
like,
was all right. But
Yeah,
like,
he did
talking
a
about
lot more than I thought he was going
and
to.
what's his-
Cassian
I
Andor.
enjoyed that because like
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
he shoots in the beginning,
I mean,
like he shoots a guy,
just
Yeah.
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 and it just totally sets up the character. Like, okay, he's
Cold-blooded murder.
he
Yeah.
struggles more.
He's been doing
with
some
everything
things.
he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's doing it all for the rebellion, and that's
Yeah.
what I like about this in general is that it's everything is
Yeah.
not black and white.
And it puts the
Well-
rebellion in the first, like, I mean,
They-
Star Wars fans have been talking for years about, the rebellion are kind of like terrorists, when you think about it.
In a way,
and
yeah.
this movie kind of
And
actually
this
presented
kind
that
of
way.
delves
Like,
into that.
these guys were doing some pretty harsh things. They did cross lines morally.
I thought it was very sort of interesting how Saw Gerrera's, and the rebellion themselves.
Those guys were the terrorists.
They called them extremists, and they all had turbans on. So
Like a scene-
What?
it was a little on the nose. Yeah,
That just looked like a scene right out of Afghanistan almost.
Except for Saw Gerrera, he
That-
just
that
had a big
section of the
giant
film-
gray afro.
Yeah.
How did he start out bald and then decide to grow hair? That was just funny.
Yeah.
You'd think
got-
it would have been
he
the
got
other
his
way
way.
around.
He was kind of
Huh?
Well,
On the flashback.
kind of like Malcolm X.
Yeah, he was bald when she was a kid, yeah.
well, let's go ahead and end part 1 here, and then we'll pick up again in part 2. So, stay tuned.
Woo!